Whew. I've been sitting on this thing about a week. Yep. Yep. A week today. That's crazy. So, about a week ago, I decided to take 300 to 350 micrograms of LSD. And I invited my friend over to hang out, as I do all the time when I'm tripping. And because I've started this podcast, I decided that I wanted to do a trip report. And instead of interviewing a friend for this episode, I'm being interviewed by a friend on acid. It's crazy. So, one of the reasons I really decided that I wanted to do this is because I've always journaled when I was tripping. And I had this crazy idea to, instead of writing about what's happening, I can talk about it. And I can have a friend that can help bounce off and help kind of encourage this meditative therapeutic process of taking my journaling to a whole new level. And what's crazy is now after I've listened to this episode quite possibly more times than it will ever get streamed. It's the most therapeutic thing I've ever felt in my entire life. It's so fascinating. Now, when I say it was terrifying at first, I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to behave. I was terrified to put the mic on. I went through this unbelievable, just, I'm crazy sounding moment. In reality, now I've realized it was just this huge fear of how exposed I was, because in the moment I was going to be okay talking about anything and everything that has ever happened in my life. And for some reason, that just started getting me in this crazy little paranoid thought loop of even making sense in all my ramblings or being judged by my behavior. Totally crazy. Totally crazy. Everybody who is trying to listen to this understands why I made this podcast and blog. That's wild. Nobody cares that I'm on acid. If anything, they're intrigued by it. But now I've found the beautiful insanity in always just speaking your mind. And I've definitely conquered that fear. Because when I tell you that over the course of going back and listening to this, and then letting a couple friends listen to it that I even talked about during it, and worried about how they feel about me discussing them while I'm tripping, and all these personal thoughts that I don't share with the world, they were so encouraging. They were just like, no, bro, we understand. So it was awesome. Thank you so much. I would say the most frustrating part was the inability to hold a complete thought or articulate my thoughts. Excuse me. There's this one moment where I remember something that I forgot about earlier in the interview, and I proceed to remember it, mention that I forgot it, forget about it while remembering it, then talk myself through remembering it, and then I do not continue the thought once I remember what I wanted to talk about. So when I say the inability to hold a complete thought is real, you just get in these little frustrating thought loops of repeating the same thing or forgetting stuff mid-sentence just because you're so overly stimulated and distracting. I do have to give a big thank you to Jono while I'm on this topic, because he is so good at keeping me on topic. Thank you so much. Another issue with some of my thoughts that I have is they seem to come out bold and rude, even though I don't mean anything bad by them. One example is when I try differentiating various types of art and science. I'm a big fan of the arts and the sciences, but I have this inability, it seems, when I'm on acid to differentiate between the two without discrediting one of them, and that's just nothing I was trying to do, so I hope y'all understand. But it is what it is. It's out there now. Another thing I just want to talk about real quick is I mentioned Richard Dawkins in part of the episode. and I mentioned his book, The God Delusion. The actual book I was looking for the title of at the moment was The Selfish Gene, not The God Delusion. But I couldn't remember in the moment. I was fucked up. I also go through this amazing moment in this episode where I realize all of a sudden that this was the first time I've got to have one of these experiences since I got off felony probation. And I almost start crying in the middle of the recording when I realize how far my life has come and everything that's happened. For the people that don't know me, in the last 5 years, I've dealt with everything from drug dealing to drug criminal charges to drug probation. And now finally, I'm in a place where I get to get my life back. And when I realized this in the middle of a psychedelic experience on camera, it didn't matter, not camera, but microphone. It didn't matter I was being recorded anymore. I was so fucking happy. I was so happy in the realization that this short-term horrible experience was not going to define me. I was literally creating the future now, not living on the past. It was so important to me, and you'll hear it, and it's just such a great moment that's going on in this episode. It's never too late to be successful. So even if you're 30, 40, 50 years old and you finally have that great fucking idea, go give it a shot, because you never know what kind of crazy shit you can do when you actually try. Another weird little kind of mantra I could throw out there that's a lot of people might not like the way I would say this, but I really do stand by this. Stop chasing your dreams. Chase what you're good at. Because once you do that long enough, you can build your dreams. You can do whatever you want. Please just don't stop trying. Also, I'm really sorry for the fan noise. Jono told me I should have turned it off. For some reason, I didn't think we'd hear it. That was a dumb idea. With that said, I don't really want to say much more about this. I'm going to keep this intro one of my shorter ones. I hope y'all enjoy this episode. Thank you. It's a long process.
So how are we doing the intro, Chris?
That's the intro right there. That is exactly how we're doing the intro. Hello, sir. How are you?
Simple and clean, you know. I'm feeling good. How about yourself?
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good?
Yeah. I don't really know how to... It's a very awkward thing to try to... I don't know how to just all of a sudden be like... I feel like everybody's going to know already the situation.
Yeah.
Like, before they've even made it 15 seconds into this episode, they're going to understand the premise of the episode. So I feel like I don't have to introduce it that much. But I still be thinking, like...
Like, should I mention it?
So how do I do this? How do you do this?
How do you do this?
Well, like, because I've watched... what was that guy? Psych Substance and stuff. He does deliberate trip reports. He'll where it's just like, I took this much, I'm this much in, and he'll like tell you based on like, he'll give you timestamps and tell you what he's feeling and stuff like that. And that's I've seen that, but that's a very
it's a very clinical way of doing it. It is not like he's not trying to. It's not even that he's not being personable. It's that he's really just trying to describe what it could be like for other people to experience exactly what
it's like the difference between it's the literal difference between science and artistry.
Yeah.
Like I'm more of an art project, I feel, and he wants people to be safe. Yeah. That's really what it is. Like, he just wants to give you the facts, and this is how you do this properly. Yep. And it's important, but yeah. So it's like I've seen those, and
but see, that's the thing, Chris. Art projects, you got to do them to get better at them. So yeah, there's no time to start but the present, you know.
I feel you. I don't know how long I've had that.
Oh, you good?
Well, I guess so I'm probably at this point, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours in. What time is it?
Let me look. 6:11.
6:11. probably about 4 hours after actually dosing around 300 to 350 micrograms of LSD.
So, pretty decent time span.
Pretty decent dose.
And what have you been doing leading up to these moments, Chris? The build up.
Building up.
Yes.
It was really crazy because I actually was, like I was telling you, I went downstairs and I was talking to Caleb, and it was crazy because I had this moment where I realized I've tripped around him a few times,
Yeah.
but this is the first time I've tripped since I got off probation, and I could feel this like resurgence as I could feel the trip coming on. This resurgence was coming, and I kind of looked at Caleb for a second, and I just looked at him. I was like, I feel really hyper. I just feel really hyper. And when he looked at me and he said, I feel you, bro. What are you going to do with that? He had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, I just went up to my room and I was just like, this is going to be a lot.
Yeah. I've now just closed myself in a space.
And because I realized, like, I was about to really just kind of throw probably 3 years of just, back out into the physical reality. And the people who live with me did not live with me the last time I threw all that out there while I was tripping. So it was, so I just bottled myself up, and I didn't see a single walk of life until I saw you, bro.
Yeah.
For about 3 hours. I listened to everything from Slipknot to Lady Gaga to Avril Lavigne to Lil
All
Baby to Polo G.
All bangers.
We was all there, bro. And now I'm still hyper.
Yeah. But that's okay. Because we had time to get lost in Roku City. We found the TARDIS, you know. But I'm sorry.
You're good, bro. Actually, hold on. I have a feeling that went out. Very awkward.
Well, of course.
I think it's mostly just because, like, and what's weird is we had that whole moment where we were, the whole conversation about the fucking goddamn camera, and now I actually feel like I'm on camera the whole time.
Yep.
And I keep looking over at the little audio things bouncing up like it's a video and everything, and it's like really just got me concerned about.
It's because mentally it's still another form of being recorded.
It is. It like weirdly, like, you know me, I'm a very open person. I'm literally like running around in circles right now, terrified of like actually. I'm trying to think of how to put this. Like, all right, so like, it's that talking crazy thing. Like, you remember when I interviewed you for the show, and we were talking about you just start talking about what's on your mind. You're like, this is what's happening. This is what's happening out of fear of feeling crazy. And right now, because I actually am tripping on acid, I'm constantly in this loop in my head of literally worrying about every little thing I actually say making sense.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. Like, it's terrifying. It's
because
exposed.
you are just making sense.
And I know I am, but that's literally what happens. So it's kind of cool. It's cool. It's terrifying, but it's
See.
I think I was gonna say, because I think one of the things that is really neat is like I journal a lot when I'm tripping.
Yeah.
And I write down about my thoughts and how I felt in that moment. But you don't really have. This brings this is gonna bring a whole new level of being able to go back and look at my experience, and like all the way down to the tone in my voice and how I'm feeling at this moment is crazy. And like, it really does come down to just forgetting that microphone's there for a second, getting lost in the moment. Because I guess it really is just a fear of judgment thing.
And I feel like you might become also hyper aware of it because like one of the reasons that you're probably even feeling hyper, I mean, not to put words in your mouth, is just probably because it is a kind of pent up just emotion kind of thing. So it's not like you said, you can't just like go out for a run and then just feel great afterwards, like you just released all that stuff. And it can be stifling when you're not in an environment where people are just kind of vibing with that feeling with you. And that's like, you know, I find that stuff fun. Like just being able to come over and like, we just watched a Kesha music video. Come on.
Come on.
And I had never seen the music video before. I'd heard the song. And it was just a wild ride from start to finish. You were entertained as hell. And it entertained the fuck out of me because like, I totally like feed off that shit. Like when other people are having a good time,
I will say
I'm loving it.
I will say as long as I can remember. Now, no offense to the person I would talk about. Whenever I would get around both you and Dewan, it got overstimulating. Because y'all would feed off of each other, and I was on acid.
Oh, that's our whole relationship.
And that's yes, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Like it's because it is an awesome relationship. Like, but that's why a lot of times I would just like go to the other bedroom a lot of times in the middle of my trip and go hang out with you know who and just get
I know
lost.
what you mean.
So it's just like because when I say y'all are stimulating, but you have always had an unbelievable ability to just come in and mesh with the trip. And you can ask anybody I've ever mentioned, like I will always say, like, I've always appreciated the ability. Me and Megan trip around each other well.
Yeah.
But of all my friends, that's the only friend other than Panda I've really tripped with.
Yes.
Like, as far as taking psychedelics. But as far as, like, friends, it's a whole different experience when you're with someone. They understand you better. They know how to conduct themselves. People who aren't tripping be doing so fucking much when you're tripping.
They ask all kinds of questions,
bro.
Dude. That's what kills me. That's what fucking kills me is the questions of just bullshit. And I'm just like, why are you even asking this shit, bro? I am totally not even thinking about that shit. And you trying to force that on me? Like, I get like internally upset about it. Like, I'm not going to like start yelling at people.
I don't like the "Are you okay?" question.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst question you could ever ask that person.
It's just such an open-ended question at the end of the day. So like,
and it's going to be a different answer right now than it is in 5 minutes for me, bro. I promise you.
But that's the fun part.
But but the point I was making is you have always had a very unique ability to come in and mesh with the trip a little better. Like you are probably one of the first people I'll always hit up if I'm tripping and I need somebody over. Brittany, but that's different. That's a little different. I don't know what that is. I just need to. I can say whatever I want, however, I'm blowing my mind out right now.
It's almost like you're not even hanging out with someone. They
it's
just
a cry out.
Yeah, she like can, but also can naturally mesh with you in that moment to like feel basically almost like she's not there, but being a presence to hear you.
I feel that.
Like
because whenever she's around, like I said, it's like a cry out. It is. It's like a cry out when I'm tripping. That's how I pour. Like I'm exposed when she's around. And although I will say I've never felt more exposed than I do right now, but
yeah.
but like you've just always been a very like if it's getting to be a lot, what's up, Jono? What you doing? Like it just helps get me out of whatever it's a very calming existence.
I try.
Like I told you, before you got here, I was squirming on the floor.
Yep. And then we just had a little party. That's all. It's you like sometimes it's nice to just be an outlet for people to like I know this like kind of just comes out of nowhere, left field completely.
No,
but I do really just enjoy sometimes going over and just listening to somebody else talk. And like, yeah, I'll respond and I'll be a part of the conversation. But like at the end of the day, like I'm just trying to listen to what they're talking about and see where they're coming from. Cause that shit is really just interesting as hell to me.
And I will say, like I said, when you're tripping, you have that fear of talking crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and you are somebody who is very good at letting someone not feel crazy. Like it's like you're
Because there
almost
ain't
like
a whole lot of crazy
you can
shit.
well, and you could literally be just like rambling insane, and the only thing you're gonna hit you with is why you feel that way, Chris.
Yep.
So be like, well, be like that, Chris. So it's just very compassionate in a time when you can't you're having a hard time really getting you. So somebody's just letting you just kind of, yeah.
Talk it out.
It's it's like an expressive, like, yeah, fun, yeah. It's almost like self advice.
Because when you really like listen to yourself, I do feel like a lot of people can figure out their own problems, but a lot of us want to drown out that shit like with distractions. Because I do it all the time. It's super easy for us now, and I know, like, not to get all like technology bad or anything like that. It's just like if you don't want to be thinking about something, you can just choose to think about something else by distracting yourself.
Except for this microphone.
Yes, this little devil. But like, oh damn.
My bad.
No, you're good. But just like, it is very easy to just distract ourselves from how things are really making us feel. And so if you just get an opportunity where someone isn't really like trying to tell you what to do, trying to tell you what your life is like, and they just kind of listen to what you have to say, you'll figure a lot of shit out because, like you said, it's almost like you're talking to yourself.
You're very reassuring that the thoughts are okay, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, because in a moment when you feel almost a little torn from yourself, I even in moments like this will sit there and be like, okay, bro, you make no sense. You make no sense. You make no sense.
Yeah.
So to have someone who can actually sit there and you, as completely outside of my head, is sitting there being like, nah, bro, you totally good.
Yeah.
Totally good.
Like that shit.
It's comforting.
Because at the end of the day, that is what a lot of people desire, if that makes sense, is just an understanding, just bare minimum. Because a lot of people's frustration comes with when you're just trying to be yourself and you're being fucking completely misunderstood. When you say something to someone that you just thought was the most normal thing in the world, and they come back at you just fighting. And you're just like, what did I say? Where was the miscommunication here? Like, what causes that? And the thing is, if you get people who are willing to sit down and talk to you about that, you literally can find out that it's literally because maybe a past experience has made them think that these specific words mean this specific thing, and they have a completely changed perspective of just those words individually. And it will fuck with them for most of their life unless they purposely try to change that behavior. By, like, you call yourself out and be like, well, I don't like thinking like that. And you, over time, build up a programming of coaching yourself through it. Doing it with someone else is like speed running that process.
Yeah, because it really does take that reassurance for yourself is unbelievably difficult. Like it's so hard. It's like, and it's crazy too, because I can have it all day long when I'm by myself kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can sit there and know, but whenever I have to go take those thoughts and express them in front of other people, now I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
So it's like it
becomes a whole balancing act.
Mm-hmm. So it is, like you said, it is very nice to be able to just not have to even think about that.
Exactly.
The fuck is going on outside?
Always something, Chris.
Bro, that's
at least once.
Bro, Cadence ran in last time.
I heard.
I haven't seen her. I would love to see her right now. I really
She is a beautiful creature. I'm so glad that they got her. Every time she jumps into my lap, it's just like, for a few seconds, you're just like, this is the cutest thing on earth. And you just get to pet her. She's a great dog. I don't know how else to describe it other than, yeah, that's a great dog. So I totally understand you wanting to be around her.
I haven't seen her in a few hours, man.
That's a long ass time, Chris.
It's a long time.
Especially when you're in the same house with this
It's a long time for Cadence. Aw.
You can always call Cadence.
No.
No.
That's too much right now. We'll wait till this is over. I have chords.
Just start beating against the mic.
Bro.
Jumping in our laps.
It was crazy last time. I don't know what to talk about now. Bump the mouse. There we go.
Time ain't be passing at all, Chris.
Who are you telling, bro? Who the fuck are you telling? When I say, bro, like, I go through this weird moment every time I go through my music bout when I'm tripping. Because I always go through this music, dancey, moment.
Oh, because
like,
that shit's fun as hell.
Yeah, like, it's just like, it's especially ever since I moved in with Caleb. Because, like I said, it's, I've confined my trips a little more to the room.
Yeah.
And, like,
and even psychologically, that makes it more contained.
And I've even felt like, weirdly enough, by the way I've done that, I've cut a lot of the outside world from my trips, like my walks and stuff, because for some reason, I don't know why, but the path to get outside is through the rest of the house.
Yeah.
And I never really realized that before, but I haven't gone on a walk in a long time when I was tripping, and I don't really understand why. Because I used to walk all the time when I was, like, that was one of my favorite things. I used to walk, when I was at Treetop, I'd leave my apartment, bro. I'd walk all the way around to the front of the apartment. And I'd walk down all the way to Food Lion on Skybo Road and back, bro.
Damn. That's a pretty good walk.
I cut through the church and shit. I just get lost, bro. I really would. It was crazy. I had a blast, bro. And I just, like, end up back 4 hours later, bro. Just who the fuck knows? But it was, that's crazy. That's real. I really would do that. Me and my brother went on a walk one time all the way down to pass around Karma, the Skybo Karma and back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Behind the church. And then through the, stopped and walked around the, that church that was at the front of the apartment complex. I think it's Lewis Chapel, isn't it?
The really big one.
Yeah. We stopped and walked around. They have a little playground out back and stuff. It was very nostalgic for a bunch of grown ass creepy dudes tripping on acid.
Yeah, but like, but for real though, it's like, in that moment, I bet it was kind of nice.
It was peaceful. It was cold because it was like November, bro.
And like, I do legitimately remember a lot of the like fall time around October, because Halloween, we were celebrating Halloween. You just got to do bullshit on Halloween as a kid. And so like, whenever it started getting that cold weather, that's when like a lot of my favorite childhood memories were from.
You want to know how long ago it was? I didn't sell weed.
Damn.
I hadn't, that whole crazy adventure didn't start yet.
That is quite a long
That's
time
crazy, crazy, bro. That's crazy, crazy.
And now you're feeling nostalgic for the time you felt nostalgic.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Tia, little, this is the first time I've tripped on acid since I got off probation. Everybody, after just real quick, when I talk about selling, I hadn't started selling weed, hadn't started that whole thing. Shortly, the next year and a half after that, 2 years of my life was a crazy little spiral that involved led to a lot of legal problems.
Yeah.
And,
happens.
Yeah, shit be happening.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I just got off probation less than a month ago from that whole thing. And this is my first time actually tripping since that all. And that is crazy.
I mean, it seems like it is something that you just be thinking about hardcore, though. Like, not to get you all up in it, but I can understand.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Because that's, like you said, that's a whole, like, little chunk of your life.
It's a period. It's an era.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. Because even though some of that shit was fucked up, it was still awesome that it happened, and it's gone amazing now. And even though it is something that will never leave your life as a memory, It doesn't have to be this shitty thing at all.
No, and honestly, like I do wholeheartedly believe that I would be a shitty person without some of these shitty experiences.
Yeah.
Like I really do. Like I've known where I was at one time in my life. So it's like
Yeah.
so it's just like that shit is crazy though. That is it's a very like yeah, it's a very closing feeling.
I feel like this is going to probably be going on for a little while, Chris. Riding that wave of the closure.
What's really crazy is like you get caught in this like loop for a few years of like really feeling like whatever happened is who you are. And like when I say in like a day and a fucking half, bro, that's
It all
such
shifts.
fucking bullshit. Like that is the craziest shit I've ever heard. Like what? I'm feeling myself right now.
No, but
I really am feeling myself right now.
but that whole process is really interesting to me in the first place because, like you said, that shit really does be happening sometimes. You will just go for a period where you're just like, oh yeah, I figured out what I'm doing. I figured out what I wanted in life. You know, this is a good direction. I feel pretty good about this. And in like a short, very short span of time, something just like clicks with you that you're just like, okay, wait. There's some editing that needs to be happening right now.
You want to know what, if anything, is the craziest thing? Is in such a short period of time, realistically, I'm 30 years old, 3 years of my life. How much happened in such a tiny little period of time, and people be trying to like you get stuck a lot of times when you're like, oh, I'm 30 years old, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm running out of time. That difference is 30 to 33, 33 to 36, like 3 years, bro.
Yes.
Like 3 years. It's like you really like it's a tiny, and how much shit can happen in such a tiny little spot.
It's because when you're going through it, it seems like the longest time in the world until you look back on it and you're like,
and but like it's more than enough time to change any and absolutely every little thing in the world about you. Like that whole nonsense about like you feel like that one little moment is who you are. Like that literally is nonsense. Like in 3 years, all that happened. What can you do in one more year? What can you change in 1 year if all that happened in 3 years?
yes.
Like all that happened in 3 years. It's real shit.
It is.
Hey, see, I got Jono speechless.
No, I am just thinking about it because, again, like I said, like this is the stuff that I do enjoy just thinking about. It's like how we do exist, how we do live, like not just on a corporate level, how much we own, things like that. Like how our like newer generations are going to live completely differently than older generations. Like one of the reasons that you even have some people have that preconceived notion of the whole like, you know, I'm 30, where the fuck am I at? Because much older people than us were at completely different places than us at that time in their lives.
I had somebody look at me the other day and say, I look at you and I see you kind of like my daughter, hippy dippy, crystal wearing, long hair, little. I don't want to see you get to be my age and looking back and going like, what did I do? What did I do with my life? Like, you know, I wasted all this time like I'm now doing. Like that's what the guy was saying to me. Like he's looking like looking at me like he's trying to give me some game, like stop wasting time kind of thing, like chasing your dreams type shit. You don't want to get where you're at. And it was just like that's all I heard is like what you were just like. It was to me that literally was just like a very just generational thing I was being told. Like it was just it was almost out of a different time period kind of thing. It really felt that way.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean though. Because the whole thing that fucks with me about that specifically is like they view that we're just generally enjoying life as it comes to us as a negative thing. Because like, not saying that we're, oh, poor us or all these different things. We're just in a different economical situation
Correct.
than they were.
Correct.
That's all. We've just learned that, like, when we do have a place to sleep, when we do have food, when we do have all that shit, like, we might as well be enjoying ourselves while we're doing that. That doesn't mean we're not working for some shit. That doesn't mean we're not trying to do something that's for ourselves, to build ourselves up, even if it's not for monetary gain. They just don't get how that is because it just wasn't like that for them.
Well, it was, yeah, well, like, they were raised that, like, you identified with, like, what you did, like, this job type thing. It was like, what do
Yes.
you do? I'm a fucking plumber, man.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be the best fucking plumber that ever lived.
And they
that's
could
what-
rock that shit.
and they could rock
Yeah.
that shit. But they do. They'll look at us and say, but you're not working towards something like that. What are you doing with your life? And it's like, okay, well, you're not really looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at me like I don't have an idea because I can't show you this, like, this degree or this corporate ladder that I've climbed.
Yeah.
But you are completely ignoring the 5-year plan of, like, trying to actually sit here. I'm going to stack my bread at your 9-to-5 job, guy, and I'm going to stack my bread at that. I'm going to put that away for the next
Yes.
5 years. And then throughout that time, yes, I understand right now it looks hippy dippy. But through that time, I'm going to focus on being happy and growing this audience and this community for what I'm trying to do while I stack this money, sir. And I know that sounds like a weird little hippy dippy little plan to somebody who comes from climb this corporate ladder or open your business. But
Yeah.
but that's 2021's open a business.
Yeah.
And that is the real situation that you're dealing with here. I think that's really why I felt that's where that generational thing came from. That little, like, I don't want to see you get to be 30. I mean, I don't want to see you get to be 60. What the fuck did I do with my life? Because you can't look at my plan and see it as a plan, because I can't tell you I'm gonna be the CEO of this company in 6 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like, type shit. Like, I don't know.
Especially if you have no desire to.
I do feel that.
Like-
I do.
like-
well, that's a whole. No.
Yeah, Like, and that's what gets to me is, like, they just not only pocket watching you, they're just trying to tell you how to live your life. Because they can't see a fulfilling life any other way than the way that they saw or were told that they should have it.
And I could just be part of that younger generation saying this, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I also do take into account that you're telling me you spent 20 years doing nothing in the process, trying to figure out what you wanted to do, and I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah.
I'm 20 years ahead of the game, putting those plans in motion.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't sit here, and yes, you can't, I do understand why you can't at 60 something years old go out and start something like a psychedelic podcast. You might be a little, I do get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a harder little footprint to do. You don't understand the technology aspect of it. You got to look for younger help to help you record your stuff. It's just a harder get up and go thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I got on a little ramble there for a second.
No.
Take me.
It's been a long thread. I see what you mean. Like, you feel like you're getting off track, but no, it's like, it's still all along the same lines. Because at the end of the day, all it is just talking about how pretty much all the bad interactions that we have with different people and generations is just because they expect their differences to be mirrored in other people. And that's really what it is.
I do feel that.
Because we and you are both very different people. And we have very different goals. But I would never tell you that the way you think about going to your goals is the wrong way to do it. Because that's not my goal. I don't even have a game plan for that shit. And, like, people try to come at you like, I know the game plan, so follow these rules. And it's baffling to me.
I feel that. I do feel that.
It is baffling.
It's a really selfish mentality.
And
to think that you don't even think about, people they don't even take you into consideration at all. This is just a little off topic. Then they want to come and tell you what's best for you. Sorry, I got my feelings for a second.
No, we are exactly on topic with this.
See, I'm real quick, everybody. You're gonna deal with this interesting little moment where my separation between my irrational and rational thinking's a little collapsed together. So a lot of my thoughts are gonna be out loud before I actually get them together.
Get them fixed. You gotta get them fixed right.
That shit was funny. That shit was funny.
That's why that Terrence McKenna shit, the language bullshit, all that stuff about that. I know that shit sounded so fucking crazy, but it's just in my heart, I always feel about that, like, what if? What if one day people can get to the point where you're talking to someone and instead of just words coming out, an object that explains the meaning of what you're saying comes out? And how much different people's interactions would be, because it would be immediate understanding.
This real quick, like, the ability to get true communication from people already without ever using your fucking mouth is crazy. Because, like, when I say people can tell you this, that, or the other all day long with the most convicting fucking tone, and just their eyes will tell you one other story.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be crazy. So I do feel you.
See, we're already on the pathway, Chris. These are just very low levels of this technology.
I hate you so much.
It's true, though. I mean, we used to be out here like ootin' and ottin' and just hoo-ha's and be like trying to communicate through that shit.
It would be a little terrifying to think of the idea of people's, I guess, like, thought pathways actually being connected.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little terrifying. To the degree that I could just, like, you could get what I'm trying to say without actually saying it, kind of thing. I don't know if I ever actually liked that idea.
I can't say that I like it or dislike it, but I can say that it's extremely interesting.
It's
to
interesting.
Me.
But
like, and that's what a lot of that stuff is fun for me for. It's just a thought process.
Do you feel like stuff like that is inevitable evolutionarily?
So, okay.
I just fucked you. No, the look on his face, real, everybody, was
if
amazing.
I'm being real, because, like, that's the thing. It's like when you talk about stuff like this, a lot of the time people are just assuming that you mean, like, oh yeah, in the next 100 years or so, like, we're gonna be just like talking through objects that express meaning. Like, and it's like, it's not like that. It's like maybe in the next 2 trillion years, yeah, we're eventually have evolved to a point, or not even us, maybe our species has completely died out, whole new things just come up, and it would probably do that several times before anything got to a position like that.
It's really sad that we feel we have to step around our statements that much to make sure nobody misunderstands what the fuck we're saying. Yeah.
And that's why it would be so easy, Chris. That's what I'm saying. That would be the main benefit, is just you wouldn't have to ever explain shit to people because they'd just be like, oh, yeah.
But I love explaining myself to people. Have you ever seen me explain myself to people? It's a fucking process. It's 99% of who I am. But what do you mean, Chris? Bro, fuck you.
But I mean, me asking that question is me trying to figure it out more. Because it's usually, okay, so usually it's like, it's just like the conversation we had before. It's a thread usually with people, is they start somewhere, and there's all kinds of different phrases that these threads can go, that throughout that you just get a whole blanket instead of a whole single thread from a conversation. And so through these whole blanket of conversations, I don't know if this makes sense at all to anybody listening to this.
It's making sense to me.
You've now created a whole image of kind of what that person experienced. And that's why a lot of the time, like for me, when I'm talking to people about experiences that they're having, I try to tell them an experience I had that was even just slightly similar. And I try to phrase it as, I know it's not the same thing, but it's kind of
I've heard
like
you
that.
say that a million times. I know it's not the same thing.
It's just, for me, it's interesting to in some way have slightly experienced someone else's experience, because like you said about the talking to yourself, that's an immediate connection. Is whether that's the same experience or not, we know what it feels like to be in a scenario like that. Both of us do. So there's like a degree in the middle where there's a gray experience that has happened to both of us. And that's a connection to me, if that makes sense. And that's why I really enjoy digging into that shit, is because you just get to see people more for who they are, and the more you understand people, the more you understand yourself.
Well, and one thing I always realize, like, and this is especially like to do with like thinking on psychedelics, especially like all that every, how do I put this, like every little thought you're terrified to like put out there or you feel weird about, like every, like that person you're afraid to say it to, like they feel it literally the exact to a fucking T.
Yep.
Same fucking way in their head. But when they talk and they express themselves, this fucking like ego comes out. It doesn't sound like they get you.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like they get you anymore.
And you kind of have a back and forth for a while about it.
And it makes you so reluctant to literally just say it the way you think it.
Mm-hmm.
And you start trying to find, everybody's trying to find this weird, but when I say everybody to a fucking T actually has that exact same thought you be just reserved about.
Yeah.
Like literally to a T.
Because at the end of the day, we're all just having like the human experience in a way. And so like through just comparison, you can pretty much simulate realities of other people. Now that is in no way means that I've experienced it, but it's like VR.
You ever seen those like random little memes that it's like, the ones I always think about is like the guy and the girl laying in bed and it's like she thinks he's thinking about some other girl and what I'm really thinking about, and it's always some ridiculous shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is like, it's that type of mentality. It's like
everybody has had an experience like that.
Because every time I see those little memes, I laugh and I just shrug it off real quick. Like, haha, yeah, that's funny. I've had that moment. But like, it's just like, you don't really take the time to realize how connect, like the actual connection that's literally planted.
Yes.
The amount of other people sitting there saying that shit.
That's why it's called a meme. Because a meme means an idea.
Didn't Richard Dawkins, I think.
I can't comment on that.
I'm pretty sure he's Richard Dawkins, the dickhead ass, the guy he was like an old face of like evolutionary biology back in the day. He was like the British guy who was always talking shit to everybody, calling them stupid and shit like that if they didn't believe evolution shit. But he coined that in his book was The God Delusion. The God Delusion was the book, I believe. Richard Dawkins. I believe he coined the word. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out soon.
Eventually, we will have to find
my
out.
phone is somewhere, and that's a good thing right now. Like I'm looking for it, and I want to look this up, but I also don't want my phone because I'm on acid, and I don't need that distraction at the moment.
I'm already doing it something else.
You feel me? So it's like Did you see it on my face? I was so lost for a second.
You literally were like searching for it real quick.
And I see it. It's right behind you. That's the funny part. Oh God! What is this looking like? 40.
We have 43 minutes.
That's crazy.
Hey man, see, it got easier after a while.
I'm just curious to go back and listen to it and see if I actually talked about anything.
But you did, and I can tell you that for sure because I'm the one sitting here.
I appreciate that.
See, one of the nice things for me about it is because it is really reassuring to see somebody else who is having a psychedelic experience in one way or another just be able to talk about it and talk about the things that they're thinking about. And you can just
real quick while it's on.
Oh no, you're good.
Because I lost this thought. This is a thought I lost at the very beginning of this recording. I was talking about how like I'll sit there and I'll trip and I'll journal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just got lost real quick, and I remember I actually said something about, and this is gonna bring a whole new level of going back and looking and shit like that. And I just got lost for a second, spaced out, and you just picked it up as you did a million fucking times throughout this, which I really fucking appreciate your ability to bring this back on topic. But of course I just got back off topic again.
No, you're good.
But what was I talking about? It was let me try to trace it back real quick. Hold on. Don't help me. Because
We just riding the waves of conversation now.
No, because I know you can help me. Because you were about to. I saw your hands pick up for a second.
The signals were coming through.
Because I was talking about the journaling, and this is gonna bring a whole new level of being able to look back and shit like that. Oh, I'm really excited to be able to actually go back and listen to this, because I've never actually, I don't know if I'm going to go back and listen to it while I'm still tripping or not, but it's almost like surreal, because I already know, if this makes sense, going back to listen to it, it's not going to feel like I'm listening to something. Like it's actually like I'm going to all of a sudden get lost in this little embodiment of this really is me. Like this is almost like the purest me I've ever recorded, minus the clip that Fayetteville Police Department has me on DMT.
He fucking slam dunked that ending, dude.
Yes, sir.
That story, it is so good. I enjoyed that whole process.
Bro, that was so, I'm just like lit right now. And the best part is the whole closure of everything. My first time tripping since I got off probation and everything. Fuck y'all.
Let's do a different kind of recording.
Like I said, I appreciate the experience. All that shit. I'm a better person. But I just had to get out of my get in my bag for a moment. That was so funny. This is the most pure moment other than that ever recorded.
It just keeps going. It just keeps going.
Yo, bro, I'm lit for the end of this is gonna be my favorite part. I need to put on Kesha.
It is gonna be just like you're tripping the whole time, Chris. At first, it's a little awkward. You're kind of figuring it out. You feel a little jittery and awkward, and then it just kind of starts happening. You're having a great time.
And for those of you who have never done it before, this is what 300 to 350 micrograms of LSD is like. It's good, too.
It's good, too.
Is what's fun. What the other thing that kills me is, like, it's impossible not to cut up and be a goofy little dumbass little bastard when you're tripping. Like I noticed it going back listening to the interview with you. Like, it doesn't matter how deep meditative the process can be. Like, I'm tripping balls.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how serious something is. There's always a little bit of comedy in everything that's going on, and that's like.
There's nothing in the world that is every range of emotions better than tripping on acid.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, okay, I don't want to say that. I want to say that the stereotypical psychedelic experience.
Yes.
Because I know some people get it from other stuff. Some people get it without even psychedelics, but I know that's to me what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most all-encompassing to you, which is a good way to say it, because just like I talk to people who
goes back. Now I'm going back on that treading around my words thing.
Yeah,
other people misunderstanding me.
Oh, okay. Real quick, I wanted to say something though, but like the interesting thing about you talking about now going back and listening to the recording of this process, just like, journaling and doing stuff like that, like you kind of enjoyed going back and reading those things, and how we had the whole conversation at the beginning about how when you just have someone who kind of just listens and understands, you are able to actually learn more from yourself. This is like another step above that shit. And you know what I mean?
I just now, as you were talking, I just processed the thought of actually journaling about my observations and just inflecting and like just almost like the idea of meditation upon just listening to this. Like, just like, that's just like...
Because everything can lead to a threat.
The idea of actually, because I guess it doesn't. I don't really look at it as studying myself until I bust out a pen and paper afterwards. Otherwise, even then, even going back and listening to it, it's not studying myself. Like it's still artistic to me.
Yeah.
Studying has that research mentality. So it's not as I'm not trying to take like artistic. Like you do study the arts, but it's like you get what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I get exactly.
So
what
it's
you mean. Even though literally, it is pretty much the opposite of how I think about things and how I handle my artistic pursuits. Is you have a completely different brain than me, and we've even talked about that, like with imagery, how words work in our brain, different things like that. That's one of the reasons that having conversations with you can be so interesting and fun. And like
that's why it takes me so long to explain what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's because it's visual.
You got the backlog.
I'm trying to verbalize visuals instead of like it's almost easier to. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, but like at least in my head, if I could paint or draw like you, it would be gold.
Yeah.
Oh,
but like, and it's not that you can't do those things. It's that, I mean, you don't really have a drive or desire to, right?
Because I'm already
expressing yourself in a way that
is fulfilling the visual need.
Yes, exactly.
Like you're thinking in verbal thoughts all the time, and you're just visualizing a verbal pattern.
Yes, and I'm
verbalizing a visual pattern.
Exactly. It's like the thread in the blanket, Chris.
Well, like. A lot of me trying to have a conversation with someone feels like that snake game on the old Nokia phone. I feel like I'm just like, like I literally feel like that, and I'm just trying not to crash long enough to get it right.
Mm-hmm. When I was
eventually that bitch comes out right, and y'all figure it the fuck out though, bro.
It's just endlessly interesting how different everyone is, but also literally exactly the same.
I hate you.
And it fucks with me all the time because I say it out loud and I know every time it sounds like some bullshit thing to say out loud to people, but I really feel that shit like deep in my soul.
I do too.
And it can, like, saying stuff like that to people can come off as just corny to some people.
Do you think I feel like that's the difference between people who like other people and don't like other people? And what I mean by that is you know those people who just like, man, people are stupid, fuck people.
Yeah.
You know those people?
Yeah.
I really feel like a lot of that comes from a fear to just accept that you really are just fucking like that motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes. Like,
and I love this shit. So like I don't be hiding from those similarities that disgust me, but I also love the differences that disgust me kind of shit.
Yeah, because
disgust not the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's stuff that you can't see yourself doing. That's what it is. It's not disgust. It's just I would never do that, but I have no judgment that that's who you are doing that. Because just because I don't have either the guts or the like I guess lack of empathy to do something, like as long as they're
that is a lot of this world's problem is
Yes.
lack of empathy.
Yes.
We can solve 90% of the problems in this world right now with empathy.
Yes.
Everybody says money solves problems.
Mm-mm.
I got you. I got the solution. If you felt everybody else's problems like I feel everybody else's problems.
Yeah, and that's not even like you trying to be like, I'm some unique person that feels people deeper. It is and see, that's
I appreciate you.
When I start saying stuff like that, that's how I feel sometimes, that I come off to people, and I do have to then rephrase myself, and I'm be like, I am not some like special spirit man. I am literally just a dude who understands that the joy in life comes from people being different than I am. And so if I can at least enjoy the differences, even the things I don't like about people, it's not really my life. If they're enjoying it, that's great. Because I hope that they feel the same way about me.
And how many times have you felt so much richer after a conversation with somebody who's totally different than you?
Yeah.
How many times have you felt that way after a conversation with somebody who's exactly the same. You do not.
Yeah.
I don't take shit away from that.
Mhm.
So it's like yeah, that
And see, but what I think is funny about that is I can bring that back to like the me and Dewan thing. Like, we have a relationship where we're very, very similar. But because of that, we just rubber band back and forth the exact same energy the whole time.
bro.
And literally, we can just, at any point we're just hanging out, we can just be like, okay, I think I'm going to go home. Because we had our time. We had a lot of fun. We played off each other. Like, we just laughed at whatever we were each were saying, having a great time. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, you kind of has expended your energy in a way, and you can then just go home and relax and then go to bed. But I think
really
that's
appreciate real quick. I just want to say I really appreciate the people who allow me to come around and expend my energy, because I know there's a lot of it. I really know there's a lot of it, and I love every single one of y'all so much.
because sometimes you got to, like, it feels almost unhealthy to not let it out sometimes.
Bro, and that is how I felt, and I feel bad. I keep feeling bad when I hit this, because I know he's gonna go back and listen to the episode. But that's how I felt when I was sitting there talking to Caleb earlier, and he was like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "I'm really hyper." I could tell by the look in his face he didn't understand how hyper I really was, and he just because it was like I was kind of looking at him like, if I would have looked at you that way and said I'm really hyper, you would have looked at me and you would have known it. You would have known what the next 6 hours of Chris was gonna be like.
Yeah, exactly.
He did not, and at that moment,
It's
I just was
like the difference of me coming to you sitting on the floor. One time, I was like, okay, I know exactly how this is gonna go.
Oh my god, bro!
But yes, continue. I'm
But
sorry.
but no, you're good. So like, no, that's exactly how I felt earlier. What were you saying?
You were talking about like how Caleb, like, basically you felt like he just didn't understand exactly how hyper you were and all that stuff. And you were also worried about whether basically like he would think you're talking shit about him, which I know that you're not.
Oh yeah, well yeah, me just thinking. Oh yeah, me being concerned about keep relentlessly bringing him up on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Because
No, I'm trying to remember how I got on the topic. What made me think about him in the first place? In the when I was talking about what made me.
was it the difference of experience?
Maybe that's what it was. Because when I say I went, it was really surreal when I went down there for that one moment. And
Because we were talking about people who let you expend your energy.
Yes. I really fucking appreciate you. You're a fucking hero. And I really did. Like, I had this moment where he just really did not understand exactly what I meant by just the look in his face. He was like, I feel you, bro. And it was like, if you would have experienced me tripping back in the day, you would have known what I meant when I said that. And at that moment, I really did feel really just like, oh, nope.
It's alienating. It's alienating. and that is, of course, why you did kind of retract into a space that was just separate from that. Because now you're an alien to them. And that's like I said with Dewan, when Dewan came over, like I said, we're so similar. So he just knows what wavelength I'm on as soon as he gets there. And he could feel that I was super anxious that time. Like, I was kind of, jittery, all that different stuff. I was seeing shit in the sky that was actually, for the first time, kind of freaking me out, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because, like, I've had, like, really crazy experiences that, like, were just crazy experiences. I was like, oh my God, all this stuff is happening. But this time it was like, I feel like I'm being looked down on, if that makes sense. And, like, when he came over, he just acted the most natural dude in the world. He started putting on videos, and for a few minutes, I felt alien because, like I said, I couldn't speak correctly to him. And once I realized that he was listening to what I was saying, he understood, he was laughing along, he was talking back to me about what I was saying, I knew I made sense. And once I knew I made sense, all those feelings just dissolved completely. I was just in it the rest of the time, having a fucking fantastic time.
I feel that It's crazy because actually, while I was talking about how together the two of you are unbelievably overstimulating, one of the most awesome experiences I ever had tripping was actually mushrooms, funny enough. And everybody knows I don't really care for mushrooms. And I was back in my apartment in Dewan. I have to cut a name out of the interview. Wow. I just have to cut that audio for 1 second, bro. Wow.
Oh my god, that's hilarious though.
But they came over and it's funny too because the both of them will know exactly who I'm talking about because of the situation, bro. But it was so awesome. I was I got on this big ass emotional rant, and Dewan loved this in front of Dewan and my buddy about
and I can tell you exactly how he was looking while he was saying shit to you too. But yes, continue.
But I would just emotional ramble about Lady Gaga and all kinds of stuff. It was so funny. I'm sure he's probably told you about this. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think he has.
Really?
Because Dewan's the kind of person where if he felt like something was maybe just slightly private to the person,
I do understand that.
Really
he is very much that type of person.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons I do feel so comfortable just telling him my thoughts.
I really appreciate my random. I need to start hanging out with Dewan more often because like I feel bad because I always appreciate my random encounters with him because I have the best fucking conversation ever, bro. Like we went on just this crazy little like time walk through the history of the internet and 4chan and pardon my French, the old fag era. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like we went on this wicked time walk through the
wild
internet,
west of the internet.
Oh man, like I was raised on that shit, y'all. Like raised on that shit, and I'm really it was a dark place, and I want the world to be much nicer than that.
Amen.
I promise you.
Oh my god, I feel that on such a hardcore
you remember
level.
We got off topic when we were talking about I just feel like the world would be a lot better place if you felt people's problems the way I did. Yeah. We got off topic there somewhere too. You were like, and that's not some self-righteous shit.
It's just real.
Well, it's just like, I don't know how to put it because like when I do have a conversation with someone and they're and I could be completely sober, just chilling. Like say if I'm at your job drinking a cup of coffee. And somebody's just that I've never met is talking to me about their stressful day. I literally feel the emotion in the conversation. My day gets stressful for a moment. Mm-hmm. And that might be a unique trait. It really might be. But inherently, but we can all learn this.
Yeah.
And because to me personally, the idea to have somebody sit there and tell you about their stressful day and to sit there and just be like, word. Take it easy, boss man. Just walk away.
People really do be like that, though.
Like, bro, emotionless? Like, they just poured their heart out to you, bro. Like, are you serious?
And you don't at least kind of feel some type of way about it.
I'm serious. Like, in the world, really? So it's like, I really do feel like, that's why I was saying, that's why I really believe every problem, everybody says money can solve every problem. No, if y'all felt other people's problems the way I do, and I just know that from my own perspective, if everybody, because I know if everybody felt every problem the way I feel every problem, we would want to fix them.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody says to me how stressful their life is, my first thought is, can I help this? Nope.
Damn, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's okay. So this is pretty much exactly.
And most of the world sadly does skip that step, I feel.
Yeah. Well, remember yesterday when I was here and you looked at me and you were like, "You okay?" I kind of was bugging at that very moment because I like low key was like having a panic attack.
Is my orange juice in that cup, bro?
Yes.
Oh, you're a fucking hero.
Yes, it is. In fact, orange juice, it looks like it has nothing in it.
You're a fucking hero. That's a real friend, everybody.
I ain't trying to get you like drinking some shit in there, bro. Like
I've consumed enough today, sir.
Yes.
Continue.
But and I could not figure out what was wrong. I was literally like sitting there kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Like my chest feels really tight. My heart's beating a mile a minute. What's going on? And I went to the bathroom and I had been sitting there thinking about it for a while, and I just looked in the mirror and I just kind of was like, what are you freaking out about? And it's because I have for a long time been suppressing the feeling of basically everybody around me is suffering. And there's not shit I can do about it. Because just like you said, you do kind of wish that you could have a solution for people's problems because you are empathetic to those people's problems and you want a good life for them just like you would for you because
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean because it literally comes. It'll come from a moment of like somebody's having a problem and they're talking to you or they're venting to you about something, and you're looking for a way to help them, and all of a sudden you have this realization all of a sudden that you fucking can't.
You're completely powerless to help.
Yes,
them in
you
this
are.
situation.
Yep, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
and it is a very. It's like it's a.
And literally 3 situations are like that for me. I'm not going to talk about it or anything, but like
You're good.
there are 3 exact situations where it's like this person is going through turmoil and I care about this person. I want to help and you just can't. And that's like realizing that that's what I was freaking out about made me feel a lot better because again,
Right.
It's kind of like a collecting moment of being like give me the strength to get past the things that I can't control, of course. Like, not to get all that biblical bullshit.
No, you're good. No, that makes sense. I forgot about that. I remember that.
What?
I said I forgot about that little moment yesterday.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It was like a 5-minute moment where I just started freaking out, and I think it's literally because, unbeknownst to me, I'm trying to suppress those thoughts because I know I can't do shit about it. And so it's like, why think about this shit if you can't do anything about it? But it's still there. And I don't know what to do about it. And I think that's where the panic came from and why like it had a physical reaction, if that makes sense.
I feel that. I get caught in this weird little, and this is just totally off topic from that. This is
No,
a total
no.
change. But I get caught in this weird little moment of like, because I do when I get caught in those moments, I will go out of my fucking way to try to find a solution or try to figure out a way to at least make it a little better, even if I can't solve the problem. But like, I get caught in that. I'm the type of person who will sacrifice from myself almost, and I will literally like, I don't know, that it can almost become a distraction to me giving a fuck about other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't like thinking that way because I don't like thinking, and that's really all there
It feels a little
is.
selfish,
I guess,
in a
like,
way.
yeah, because like that's literally like, because
Even though it's not.
that's the best answer I have is like when I think about, okay, well, it's not worth it to give a shit. That makes me feel shitty.
It makes you feel a little hollow about it. And you don't want to feel that way.
I feel that.
Like, because I get what you're saying. Sometimes, like, it literally is kind of a cycle of being like, you know, like, fuck all these other people, man. Like, I just got to focus on my shit. And then sometimes it's just like, oh, I love being around all these people all the time. I can just take so much.
And then it does suck too when those people, and I hate to put this on them because it is, at the end of the day, these are problems I have to deal with. But because realistically, like what you said, the problem is just putting myself first at the end of the day. But what did I say right before I got in that little, like, the problem is putting myself first? What did I say there? Damn, Jono.
No.
I rely on you for this.
I was just relaxed into it, Chris. I was just listening.
I had such good hold of the conversation, too. I had it, dude. I knew exactly where I was going. This is frustrating.
Sometimes it happens. We lose the track.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, because it's going to drive us crazy, bro.
That one's going to drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I had you here.
You're failing. You're failing.
You have one, John Jono.
I got 2 legs.
Tap the mic. Not the mic.
I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, he means the mouse, but he said mic. But
yo, I'm crying. That shit was funny as fuck though, because you went for it, dude. That was so funny.
I was about to do it straight up.
Oh my god. That shit. Now I'm stuck in my little rabbit hole now about just like fucking like my little like are people worth this is what I was gonna say is it gets really frustrating too, and like I said, I hate putting this on other people. It gets really frustrating when they have a great day. Because all of a sudden they start seeming more, I guess, and I hate saying it, worth the problems. Because they'll bring that much more joy to your day that day, or you'll enjoy their company that day. And it's
you're like, I'm trying not to give a fuck right now.
And that is real. That shit's very real. And all of a sudden you're like, no, you're great. You're fucking great.
The radiating connection at that moment.
And it's like, and you're real good as long as you keep that bitch cut the fuck off, bro. But like, oh man. And then they have a really good day. And then you just have a really good day because of their good day. And then they have a lot of really toxic days every day after that. You can't stop. Because like Future, I love the toxic.
Oh my god. Chris.
Yeah.
It seems like it might be about time.
Yeah, I need to smoke a blunt off recording really bad. This is crazy. I'm not gonna do any kind of. I'll go back and record any kind of. Y'all hit your little subscribe da. That's not important right now. They can go fuck themselves.
Later.
This is a moment.
I think if you're gonna do anything with this tonight, like you said before,
it's listen to it,
journal,
and
maybe
listen
to it, because like you said, the writing's natural for you. The recording feels a little different for you this time, and so writing about it will help you figure out.
And I don't think I'm gonna release this either next week. Like I don't know how I want to do this, but I kind of wanna. I don't want it to be seen as like a normal episode of the podcast. Yeah. I would like to be able to almost like every now and then, because I'll do this with another substance. I don't even like mushrooms that much. It would be cool to get that moment
different.
And I do feel like it would be a lot easier. I definitely feel like it would be easier, yo. Oh my god.
You ain't wrong about that.
Oh, this is just so distracting.
But I'll be honest, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Started off awkward.
It was very awkward.
But it's always a lot of fun.
It's always a lot of fun, Jonah.
That's the experience. First, it's always awkward.
I really appreciate everybody who listened to the whole thing and shared my crazy for an hour and 11 minutes.
Damn.
Shared my crazy for an hour and 11 minutes. That's
it's funny because those first 20 minutes felt like forever.
This
felt like 20 minutes.
You want to talk about somebody feeling crazy, bro. I felt crazy for that 20 minutes, bro. And that did feel like forever. But with that said, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my LSD trip with my friend, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos and cut up with my friend like old school. So I appreciate y'all, and y'all take care. Have a good one. Thank you, Jono.
Have a good night.
That was weird. All right, so I hope y'all really enjoyed that episode. There will be a lot more of these trip reports to come. I'm going to try to do my next one on mushrooms. It won't be for a little bit. It will not be for a little bit. But I had a blast. I really had a blast doing this. And it's really changed a lot of my perspective on psychedelic therapy and journaling and meditation and a lot of that. This is profound. So if y'all also really like the episode, do me a favor, please. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. Like, comment, let me know how you liked it. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these trip reports, anything like that. If you're listening to it as a podcast, hit the follow or subscribe button, whatever one you have. You'll be notified whenever new episodes are dropped. I also have a blog that is attached to my podcast at my website, trhpodcast.com. I'll have that link down in every description for everybody. I have a blog on there where I journal about my thoughts, and a poetry section on there where I put original poetry by me. So I really appreciate all the support, and I really, really appreciate y'all taking the time to check out this episode. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you next time on the next episode of The Rabbit Hole.